And this is Nolan North. The man's been in Ninja Turtles, Transformers, G.I. Joe. It's like sitting next to the 80s.
Wow!
It's a wonderful thing.
But when we went to do the TMNT movie in 2007, I guess it came out, it was amazing to find out the whole lore that they had created and the entire universe that they created and had been around forever. Because I just remember the movies with the guys in the rubber suits.
Right.
But then then of course the comics and everything, how it Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman created everything. And when you're brought into this world, to play Raphael, that was amazing. And now with the cartoon series we do, to flip it around and play the Krang and
right.
to get to play with that kind of stuff, just to be part of that is one thing. Any kind of, I got a chance to play Superboy and Superman for Young Justice. I grew up watching Super Friends, doing that kind of stuff, so, that was pretty cool. Anytime I've done video games for like anything with the Star Wars, or if I did Clone Wars, to say that I was a little, cog in this massive wheel. It's like a little feather in your cap that you like to have, because, all the actors that do this, we're just as much fans as well.
Yes, very irritating. Irritating is so unkind to say. Krang is nothing but irritating.
I love doing it. Craig's one of the best because
all we have to ever do is this, and never have to do anything.
Well, it always struck me nice about the Krang lines is they've only got about 3 words a line, and they just say it over and over.
Yes, and only about maybe 4 lines a show. And while all those guys are sweating and yelling and screaming, I get my 4 lines done, sign my paperwork, and I'm out the door, going to enjoy the sunshine or something. But while they're, Raphael and Mikey and everybody are screaming their heads off. So, Krang has some perks to it. Well, Deadpool I got to talk about, because Deadpool was actually 3 separate personalities of the same person, but we did it consecutively talking to each other, rather than do all his one lines.
It's Deadpool when he talks like this the whole time. And then the other one when he's up high.
And then the other one when he's down low and being more serious. Rather than do those one at a time, I insisted, I thought it would be more schizophrenic, and it was hard. We didn't always get it on the first take, but to go one to the other, because that's how he's bouncing around in his head. And I didn't want it to look engineered,
right.
Literally, not just figuratively. I didn't want it to look engineered where they just kind of piece it together, because then the timing isn't natural. But yeah, it's happened a lot. It happens to a lot of actors when we do something. I did something at Nickelodeon the other day, and a fantastic voiceover guy, Jeff Glenn Bennett, who's just one of my favorites to work with, one of my friends, and he's a guy I admired for a long time. We actually asked, because in one scene I was supposed to talk to myself as these 2 different characters, but Jeff was there, and he ended up, I can't remember the characters, I probably shouldn't even say now because it hasn't aired, but we ended up like switching the characters. We were 2 of the same type of like donuts, I don't know, talking donuts. And one was the leader and one was the other guy. And then at the end, I was going to be the leader, or I was going to be the donut, and then he was the leader, and then I ended up being the leader because the other guy talked to another character. Because it's always better when you get to, like if you and I are doing a scene, I can play off what you say and what I say to you, vice versa.
Who's the better boss in Saints Row, you or Troy Baker? Don't worry, he's going to get the same thing in half an hour.
Who's the better boss? I like Troy's voice better in it, because I like Troy's voice. I think it's pretty cool. But you play as Nolan North now, don't you? You don't play as Male 1,
yeah.
Which I believe his name is under. You play as Nolan North. So we're talking feathers in the cap.
Yeah.
Or peacock, okay?
Next up, it says working on Transformers Prime.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a huge Transformers geek.
Are you?
And,
Do you love you some smokescreen?
Wait till we get to the autograph line.
Really?
Really?
Okay, I gotta tell you something. That was huge. Because I remember Transformers. I mean, I have kids. I've spent so much money on the toys, and when I finally broke into that, what was amazing, and anybody's a Transformers fan out there that's watching stuff, I'm sitting here, and it was Kevin Michael Richardson to my right, and who was it next to me here? No, Kevin was to my left. Darren Norris. It was to my right, and then right there on a square table. Now, if you think of in that corner, right there was Peter Cullen, and then the next to him was Megatron, was Frank Welker, lives across the street from me now. He's one of my best friends. I mean, me and I play golf together. He's just the best. But I'm going to tell you a Peter Cullen story. I remember reading my first thing, and I just looked, and I said, some line like, "What are we going to do?" You know, I smoked. What are we going to do? And then that voice came out. He goes, "Autobots, roll out." And I got goosebumps. And I just looked, and Kevin and Darren, I just looked at them both, and they just went like that. And Kevin went, "It's out." I mean, it was seriously. I mean, when you hear that voice come out, and he's the loveliest, nicest guy of us actually recording. Me, Fred Tatasciore, Steve Bloom, you know, doing Wolverine, but. What was really cool about it is they came to me and I said, "Where's the script?" And they said, "Well, there really isn't one." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "This is what's going on. We'll show you what it played and what line was, but then you just go in and make something up." They came in and we see the lines that were played. And they said, but they knew how I was. And like in a session, I will go off on a tangent, and they're like, "Just keep recording. We might use something." Right. And oftentimes they do. And we ended up going up, and he said, just like, so like, "Rockabye Bang," which is part of that movie. That was completely, I made that up on the fly. It's like, let's go back and get those floating babies. I didn't realize that even, I had only seen pictures. I didn't know the plot. They showed me him walking down a hallway and all those, you know, the clones, I guess, in the chambers. And that's what I did.